We've blinked and we're already halfway through the year. Summer is upon us, and I don't want you to waste another summer stuck in old habits, feeling down, because then you'll just go on to waste the rest of 2025. And before you know it, we'll be at the end of the year and you're going to wish that you'd actually made the most of it. Trust me, I have wasted so many summers and so many years in a row, and I don't want you to do the same. So I've put together all the lessons I've learned over the last few years that have completely changed my life and will hopefully rewire your brain so you can make the most of your summer and the last half of 2025. The first and biggest lesson I've probably learned over the last few years is stop ruminating on the past. This is something that completely paralyzed me for years. I was completely stuck fixating on the things that had happened in the past that I couldn't go back and change. I was angry at people that had treated me badly. I was even angry at myself that I had let other people treat me like that for so many years. But ultimately, ruminating and fixating on the past doesn't help, and it doesn't help you to move forward, and you waste so much time, and it's just a vicious circle of feeling sad and down because you keep wasting more and more time on past events that you ultimately can't change. So that was my number one lesson, was to work through the trauma and actually forget about all the bad things that had happened and make the most of the present moment and look forward to the future and happier times. And time is a paradox because you don't have as much time as you think you have, but you also have longer than you think you have. So I was stuck in a mentality for many years, probably fueled by social media, that actually at 22, 23, 24, I was too old to start over, too old to start my passion project, my YouTube channel, for example. I should have started it when I was 16 or 18, and now it's too late. Social media really puts this pressure on us that actually your life's over after 25. And actually my life has just started at 25 and it's only going to get better. But no matter what age you are, it's never too late to start something. And a good way to look at it is when you're 25 or younger, you think 50 is quite old. It's basically double my age. But actually, if someone told you that their aunt died at 50, you would be like, oh, I'm sorry, that's so young, such a shame. She lost so many years of her life. So actually, in perspective, 50 is not that old. And it's just societal pressures that have told us that we have to choose one path and stick to it from a very young age. And once you've gone down that road, there's no going back. But actually, people move across the world at 50, 60 years old, change careers at 45. It's never too late to go after your dreams. And that's something I've really learned this year, launching my YouTube channel and realizing that 25 is not old. And this leads me on to the sunk cost fallacy. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's when you put so many years and effort into something like a career, or perhaps into a friendship, or into studying. It could be anything. And then that's the reason that you don't want to give it up and you don't want to leave, is because of the amount of time you've put into it. And actually you think that you would lose more by quitting than continuing. I spent so many years in bad friendships, bad relationships, letting people treat me badly because I had known them for so long and somehow I felt loyalty to them. And that meant that I let a lot of things slide that I shouldn't have done. So my biggest advice is to get rid of toxic people, get rid of people that drain your energy. That has changed my life completely. Cutting people off that no longer serve you, that don't have your best interests at heart, that don't really care about you, was one of the best things I honestly ever did. And sometimes you just need to block people without an explanation. You don't owe anyone an explanation. If they've been treating you so badly for so many years, you deserve that peace, and it can literally start today. So one of the biggest takeaways for friendships and relationships is stop giving people a million chances just because they've been in your life for 15 plus years. Actually, time doesn't mean anything if they're not in the present moment treating you how you want to be treated. Getting rid of toxic people and negative energy in your life is probably one of the single most effective ways of stopping wasting your summer and or your life in general. Your time and energy is so precious, and not everybody deserves to have access to you. You only need a few good friends to have a happy life. You don't need a massive circle of friends, especially if they don't actually care about you. Equally, it's better to be single than be in a relationship where you are so unhappy, the person is treating you so badly, and you're just wasting years of your life because you feel like you've put so much into that relationship, but actually, paradoxically, you're wasting your life more by not leaving the relationship. So have the courage to cut off the people that don't respect you, are not supportive or there for you. And remember, you're going going to always be the villain in someone's story. I am probably the villain in multiple people's stories, but that's fine. Just let people have the wrong perception of you. They're no longer in your life and you don't care what they think about you. You know who you are. You know what they did to you. They know what they did to you in reality, but they are scapegoating it and twisting it to make you seem like the bad person in their story. So my biggest advice would be just to let people's perceptions be wrong about you. It doesn't affect you at all, and actually worrying about what people think of you just wastes more time than anything else. Be really selective with friendships and relationships. It's a privilege to have access to you, and protecting your inner peace and your energy is honestly going to be life-changing for you. Choose your life partner very carefully. I can't stress that enough. I had to learn that the hard way. So many people are in relationships that they shouldn't be in. In fact, there's probably more people on this planet in unhappy relationships than there are in happy relationships, which is kind of ironic. So many people don't have the courage to leave a toxic relationship. From experience, it's one of the best things you can do. It's not easy and you feel like you're throwing away all the time and effort, but actually once you've done it, it's such a relief and you can rebuild your life. Most of the time, the toxic person you're with is stopping you from leveling up and finding your dream man. That was me. If I look back now and I think, oh, if I had stayed with some of the people I had been with in the past, I would never have found and met the dream man that I'm with today. And I don't say that lightly. He's literally my dream boyfriend. But I could have so easily blocked that chance, for want of a better word, if I had wasted time staying with toxic people out of habit. I think some people are just in long-term relationships out of habit because that's all they've ever known. And sometimes it's scary stepping into the unknown, but I've learned that it can be one of the best things that you can do. So don't settle. If your boyfriend or girlfriend is not treating you right, don't settle or lower your standards, because there is someone else out there that will treat you right. If you go to a restaurant, you wouldn't order a TV, which is just a funny way of saying, like, basically, if the person you're with isn't giving you what you want, it's not because your standards are unrealistic or you're the problem. They're the problem. You're not looking in the right place. You're not asking the right person for the things that you deserve. And the last thing to say on relationships, and hopefully this can really help you rewire your brain in time for summer, is go with your gut. If your gut's been telling you to leave this person, if your gut is telling you that it's the wrong person, it's the wrong relationship, even if you've been with a person for like 20 years, you should have the courage to leave, because your life could get so much better. And I'm living proof of that. I woke up and finally chose to put myself first, and today I am in the most peaceful, happy relationship, all because I stopped settling for BS, and I actually believed that I would find someone that would treat me right and there would be no issues, no arguments, no asking the person to change, because yes, you will never change a man. There is no point in even trying to pretend that you can. You never will. And if there's already things you want to change about the person before you've even started the relationship, don't even waste your time. You deserve so much more than that. This is your sign to leave that toxic relationship so that you can find your dream man. Okay, moving on to another big lesson that I still struggle with today, actually, and I'll probably do another video more in depth about it. It's about getting comfortable with failure. It's something that held me back for a really long time. I didn't start this YouTube channel. I was afraid of failing publicly, not even publicly in the sense of random people online watching my videos or thinking they're cringe. It's more about, you think all your friends and family are watching you, which is such a stupid thing. It's this concept, the spotlight effect, which some people have in public. Some people struggle with going out in public, walking down the street. They think everyone's looking at them, or the gym can be a really stressful environment for some people. I don't have that issue. Mine is more about failing and people I know laughing at me. But one of the major things I've learned in this life is no one actually cares about you as much as you think they do. And that sounds really bad to say, and I don't mean it in terms of, oh, your friends don't care about you. That's not what I'm saying at all. But everyone has such busy lives that, for my instance, no one's got time to sit down and watch my videos. No hate to me, but that, like, they just don't. So use that as a freeing concept that no one's really watching you as closely as you think they are, and go after your dreams. And yeah, there's going to be times when you fail, and this is something I've had to accept, is you can't succeed without failing many times prior. And actually, getting comfortable with failure is the first step to success. You should want to fail. I've actually renamed failure learning, because that's basically what it is. You've either learned. In life, you can't actually fail. You've either succeeded at something or you've learned a lesson. Those are the only two options that exist and should exist in your brain. And when you think about it like that, actually actually failing becomes a lot less scary. You become more confident at trying new things and pushing yourself out your comfort zone. And the fear of failure is something that really held me back for so many years, fueled by procrastination. If you're struggling with this, I'm going to talk about something called the 7 types of procrastination. I won't name them all. Basically, you need to identify what are your behavior patterns that are meaning that you are afraid of failure and you're not getting on with trying to achieve your goals and going after your dreams. So mine, for example, was a mix of over-preparing procrastination, where you just do more and more learning and preparing rather than actually moving on to the action and the execution of the thing. So in context of my YouTube channel, it sounds so stupid, but I spent years learning how to make a YouTube channel, how to make good videos, what videos worked, what didn't, all the science behind YouTube. I could probably coach people at this point. I've learned so much stuff because actually I felt I wasn't ready, and so I kept trying to learn more and put off actually starting the YouTube channel. But ironically, that is like trying to search up online how to ride a bike or how to drive a car without ever getting on a bike or getting in a car and doing any practical lessons. Like, you're never gonna learn to ride a bike by reading a textbook or reading information on the internet or watching videos of other people riding bikes or other people showing you how to drive a car. It's never gonna work. And it's the same with anything in life. The most learning comes from doing the thing, failing at the thing. Because yeah, when you learned to ride your bike, you didn't get on it and you rode it perfectly, or you drove a car perfectly the first day you tried. And I think that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to run before I could walk because I was so afraid of failing. I was almost trying to skip it, but you can't skip it. So yeah, that's something I'm really working on, is this thing called bias to action, where you can spend a little bit of time preparing, but you limit yourself and then you move on to doing the thing. And that's where most of the learning is going to take place. Another form of procrastination that was really holding me back was perfectionism. This is tied to the over preparing. It's where you want to do stuff perfectly. And so you don't want to try anything or produce anything that you think is suboptimal or subpar, because that's just not who you are. You've always been told to do your best. This actually is very common. If you're a high achiever at school, or even school in general tells you that you should do your absolute best, which I don't disagree with, but sometimes it puts the pressure on later in life when you don't want to try anything for the fear of being bad at it, or you don't want to produce anything because you don't feel like you can do it perfectly. And this held me back for so many years. Again, whether it's my YouTube channel, trying to improve my body at the gym, I didn't actually want to try because it was easier to tell myself, okay, I don't have a YouTube channel or I don't have my dream body because I haven't tried, rather than trying and doing something that I perceived to be really bad. That was actually worse than not trying. Yours could be a different type of procrastination, but it's so important that you identify your downfalls and you try to work on them and work on techniques that are going to help you put in the action, because if you don't put in the action, nothing's going to change. You're going to stay stuck in a rut. And yeah, I wasted so much time not realizing how important execution and action is. Another important piece of advice that I heard recently was some of the best entrepreneurs never sit too long with their ideas. If an idea is coming into their head, they're deciding very quickly if it's a goer or not, and then if it's a goer, they are getting on and doing it. If you spend too long thinking about an idea and never executing it, don't sit too long with an idea, just go with it, and you can always adapt it later. That's another thing that has really helped me, is thinking, okay, I launched my YouTube channel and this doesn't have to be the final version that stays forever. I can keep adapting it and evolving it over time. We as human beings evolve and we change, and the things that you're going to produce in your life, or like the jobs you want to go after, your aspirations, are going to change with time, and that's okay. So if you're still thinking about something after many years, could be anything. It could be moving across the world, it could be starting a YouTube channel like me, it could be going after that dream job. If you've been thinking about it for a long time, that is actually a sign that you should do it. Not that, oh, because you haven't done it yet, it's not meant for me. No, that if you're still thinking about it, it's a sign that it's meant for you. I don't know if I believe this, but some people say that things that you're thinking about or that you want right now are a sign that in the future you already has them. You just have to put in the work to get them. It's a little bit wishy-washy, so you don't have to believe that. But in any case, if you've been thinking about it for a long time, you're meant to do it. And something that's really rewired my brain is realizing that my dream life or my dream body or whatever it is not as far removed as I think it is. Something I've really struggled with is when I've thought that it's going to take too much work, too much time, and it doesn't look to be doable in the immediate future, I just completely discard it. I give up and I don't want to even try. And honestly, breaking up overwhelming goals into small manageable ones, it sounds so obvious, but it's something I didn't do for a long time, has really helped me take baby steps in the right direction towards the life I want to build. And if you've got a bit more time over summer, this could be something so simple as just starting to wake up a little bit earlier each day, or maybe it's going to the gym for 20 minutes because you want to start getting into the gym. Maybe it's doing a little bit on a business idea that you've been thinking about for a while. And actually trying to get rid of the all or nothing mindset is so important. This was something that held me back for so long. If I wasn't all in, doing the thing perfectly, spending all my time on it, which realistically I didn't have time to spend all my time on it, then I was just not going to do it at all and not spend any time on it and not even attempt it. And this is a very damaging mindset that I know a lot of people struggle with, not only me, and it can ruin your life. Quite frankly, there is no other way of putting it. And it holds you back and is one of the biggest reasons that you're wasting so many summers, so many years of so many months of your life, is because you're either doing it all or you're doing absolutely nothing. And the way to actually achieve your goals is by doing it tiny step by tiny step. And that 20 minutes working on your business is better than no minutes. So yeah, it's all about trying to find time just to put in a little bit each day. And that actually adds up over time to more progress than if you say, oh, I'll put it off later and I'll do that tomorrow when I've got more time, or next weekend, because actually tomorrow never comes. I wasted so much time putting stuff off and then it never got done and it never came to fruition because I just wasn't making it a priority. And prioritizing stuff is so important. This is something I've only just learned recently, that life is actually lived in seasons. Now, what I mean by that is you can't work on all your goals at once, or maybe you can, but for me that felt kind of overwhelming. And so just picking 2, maximum 3 things out of all the things that you might want to improve in your life and focusing on those for a certain amount of time, and then once you've improved those you can move on to focus on other things. It's going to be really helpful and help you get started doing small easy changes. I even heard a girl on social media talk about sprint months. You can actually split up the last half of your year into months, and each month is dedicated to achieving a particular goal, or at least making some good progress with it. And then the next month you switch to a new goal, and then at the end of the year you actually feel this sense of accomplishment because you've actually improved in multiple areas of your life and you haven't just wasted the time being overwhelmed with all the things that you have to do and all the things you want to change and actually not getting started, which is what happened to me for so long. So yeah, sprint months can be a great way of building momentum and getting into it if you're someone that procrastinates starting like me. Realizing that your mind is the most powerful thing and probably the number one reason why you're not achieving your goals, that you're wasting so much time, that you waste every single summer, every single year, etc., is because you need to rewire your brain, basically, which is why I made this video. But your mindset, how you think about things, how you feel about yourself and your abilities is so important. If you don't even believe that you can achieve the things you want to achieve, you're never going to achieve it. It doesn't matter how realistic, easy, unrealistic, or delusional the things you want in your life sound. If you don't actually believe that it's possible, it never will be possible. That's something I had to learn the hard way. I spent years in an overweight body, blaming it on my bad genetics, believing that I could never change. Just because I was basing it on previous old habits where I had never been able to prove to myself that I could change. So therefore I thought it just isn't possible for me. And it's one of the hardest things to do, and it takes a lot of retraining your mind, but you actually have to push yourself to believe that you can do something, even if right now it feels like it's now and impossible. That is the first step to stopping wasting any more time. Then comes the action, which we've already talked about. Getting rid of the pessimistic victim mentality was something that I had to really try to work on because I had been stuck in that for so long. The why me? Why does it always happen to me? Why am I the one with all these things or without all these things or whatever it is? And it's going to be completely different for everyone. Maybe someone is upset at the fact that they can't seem to find a good paying job. Whatever you're in a victim mindset about, it could be anything. It could be about money. It could be about your body. It could be about how you're being treated. The only way it gets better is when you stop feeling sorry for yourself and you get up and you get to work on making your life better, because no one's life ever got better from just rolling around in bed feeling sorry for themselves. Trust me, I've done that a lot and it doesn't help. Another way to make sure that you're not wasting the last half of 2025 is to realize that hard work is the only way. There's no shortcuts. I used to be trying to find all the shortcuts in the world, whether it was to lose weight weight, whatever it was. There are no shortcuts. Achieving your goals is going to take longer than you think it's going to take, point blank. And you have to accept that. And the quicker you accept it, the quicker you get to work on your goals. And actually you can surprise yourself and achieve stuff a lot quicker than you thought you were going to do. But whilst you waste time thinking, oh, I'm not going to bother starting because it's going to take a year to achieve my dream body, it's going to take me a few years to save for a house, you're just prolonging starting. So you're putting off achieving the goal in general. And yeah, this is a really downward spiral mentality. So accept that it's going to take hard work and actually enjoy the journey, because if you're anything like me, where you have this kind of arrival fallacy, it's called, where once you've achieved something, you don't feel any happiness or any dopamine from it. And actually you realized that what was the more fun thing for you was chasing the goal and chasing the dreams. So try and enjoy the journey, because that is actually the more enjoyable part than actually having the thing that you want. If you don't want to waste the last half of 2025, you're going to have to learn how to be consistent. This is something I struggle with. It's probably the number one reason why I haven't achieved my goals, is because I struggle majorly with consistency. Routines are really hard for me to stick to. If that's you, you're not alone. And honestly, struggling to stick to routines was, and probably still is, the root cause of when I feel down or I'm mentally struggling, because it's so disheartening when you have all these ambitions, but people just brand you as lazy. But it's not laziness, it's just this inability to be able to keep up things consistently. And you get stuck in this anxious freeze state where you're anxious, you can't do anything. You know that time's going by, which is making you more anxious because you haven't done anything. But then because you're more anxious, you still can't do anything, and the doom loop repeats. So yeah, that's just a perpetuating cycle, and one that I really struggle with. The only thing I can advise is just trying to focus on one thing and just doing something to get started, because usually once you've started, you can actually set a timer for 5 minutes and work on it for 5 minutes. And then if you don't want to work on it anymore, that's fine, you can stop. But usually once you've started, you can carry on. There's so many different techniques, accountability partners, change your environment, going to a coffee shop. There's so many different things that can help you get started if that's what's stopping you from being consistent each time. But building habits and consistency is going to be so important if you don't want to let your summer go by without actually seeing any real progress. And something that's helped me be a bit more consistent is trying to work with myself rather than against myself. So I know that I work so much better in the mornings. I'm really bad in the afternoons. So that's fine. I do all my hard work in the mornings, and then I do other tasks like cleaning or whatever it is in the afternoon, where I can pair it with watching a show or listening to a podcast or something more enjoyable to get the stuff done. But the hard stuff that requires the concentration, it has to be in the morning, and that's fine. There's no point fighting that. That's just the way I am. The journey to consistency is not linear, so you're going to take 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. I just had a period where I was not consistent at all, and it's so hard to get yourself out of that rut. But you have to just slowly, baby steps. Don't try to be ambitious and go back to doing everything you were doing before if it doesn't feel doable. But honestly, the momentum you build from just getting one tiny thing done, that's like a domino effect, and then it pushes you on to do something else. It could be something so simple as sending that email or returning that dress that has needed to be returned for a few weeks. Just tiny little things like life errands can sometimes be enough to like push you to like think, oh yeah, okay, I've actually done some useful things today. Let me like sit down for 20 minutes and work on my future goals or whatever it is. I haven't totally mastered consistency yet, but I'll try to do a video on that, on more depth about what I'm trying to do to improve that, because that is a number one barrier for me, and I know that it probably is for so many people as well. And leading on from consistency is being able to identify your triggers that cause your life to fall apart, cause the consistent routines to come to a stop. It could be someone spoke badly to you at work, and recognizing that maybe, you know, you're emotionally eating because you're feeling down because of this, that or the other, or maybe you're spending a lot of time in bed because this, that or the other's gone wrong in your life. And not being too harsh with yourself, giving yourself some time to feel better, but trying to keep moving forward so that you're not wasting too many days, weeks or months not achieving your goals because your consistent routines have fallen apart. So I give an example of the gym. If I feel really, really down and can't face doing my leg day, I will at least try to just walk on a treadmill and watch my favorite show. It's like a bare minimum. It's about establishing what is your bare minimum when you feel so bad that you can't do anything. What is the bare minimum that you can do that's still slightly moving you forward in your goals and you're not completely stopping? It's like maintaining some kind of basic consistency. It's so difficult to do, and I'm still working on it myself. myself in different areas of my life. For example, if I'm feeling really down about my YouTube channel and I can't face filming a video, maybe the bare minimum would be that I will take my laptop in the bed and I will at least work on writing some video ideas for my next video. So I'm still doing something. Maybe it's not what I had set out to do, but it's like, again, trying to get rid of this all or nothing mindset. Okay, you can't do this whole elaborate plan of things you'd set out to do, but you can do something. You've got the plan of what the bare minimum looks like to fall back on those bad days. And trust me, over time, that's going to really push you forward and make sure that you're not wasting your summer, not wasting the last half of 2025 through doing nothing on the bad days. And I'm not saying you can't do nothing if you're having a really, really bad day, the odd day, but if you're going through a bad period that lasts a few days or a few weeks, this is where having a bare minimum consistency routine is going to be really, really helpful. And this leads me on to talk about discipline and motivation. We all know that motivation comes and goes, and it's not something that you can rely on. And I don't really like this content that we see on the internet of people shouting at you going, you just need more discipline and how badly do you want it and all this stuff, because I feel like, quite frankly, that makes me just want to go back into bed and not do anything. So if you're wondering how to be more disciplined, something again I really struggle with, I think it goes hand in hand with struggling with consistency. Accountability partner has really helped for me, as well as trying to reprogram my brain to see things in a more positive light. So rather than thinking I have to go to the gym if I want to change my body, I must do this, I must do that, it's more like, oh cool, I get to go to the gym and listen to some really good music and move my body and feel good about myself, and afterwards I get to do my cardio and I get to watch my favorite show. It's so stupid, but it's actually how you talk to yourself and how you perceive things and how you think about things can change your mindset completely and help you get stuff done. Same if I'm like putting the washing away, I'll call my mum and the main activity is talking to my mum, but actually on the side I'm putting the washing away at the same time. That's something called habit stacking, where you're doing something you enjoy paired with something that you don't enjoy, and that's another way of building discipline into your life. And also not thinking about it too much as well has really helped. So for example, I've got to do the hoovering later. If I thought about it too much and I thought to myself, oh, I don't really want to do it, oh, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to do it tomorrow, then it would be easy just to put it off. But actually, if you say to yourself, I'm doing the hoovering, and you don't think about it any more than that, and you put on your favorite podcast and you start doing it before you've had time to think to yourself, I don't want to do it, sometimes that can help too. It's not always going to be the case, but sometimes that has helped me, like not having too much time to think about the thing that I don't want to do, because then I just end up getting it done, and usually I get it done quicker than I thought I would. And then that's another way of proving to yourself that you're able to follow through and you're able to be consistent, and you're going to be on this upward spiral of feeling good about yourself, which is going to in turn is going to push you to get even more things done and achieve more of your goals. And a quote I really like, which is a little bit discipline guru vibes, but I think it's kind of true, which is, to get something you never had, you have to do something that you never did. And it's basically a way of saying that just sitting here hoping that things will change one day. I spent years wishing that my life would change, but if you keep eating loads of chocolate, or you keep talking to yourself negatively, or you keep going back to that toxic person, nothing is ever going to change. You actually have to do something that you've never done before to break the habit and to ultimately get where you want to go. So it is going to require you to push yourself outside your comfort zone and feel uncomfortable. In fact, if you don't feel uncomfortable, whether it's with failure, whether it's with confidence in public, whatever it is, if you don't feel uncomfortable, then you're actually not going to change and improve. You're just going to stay in your comfort zone and feel down because you're not actually improving your life. You're just wasting the time like you've done in every single previous year. And confidence is built outside your comfort zone. When you prove to yourself that you can do things that you never thought were possible, it really does build your internal confidence. It makes you feel so much better about yourself. You have a lot more self-worth. You feel like you're capable of achieving a lot more. It's just this positive upward trend. And then you start dreaming bigger and having more ambitious goals and actually thinking that they're achievable, whereas before you never even had the confidence to think that you could do something like that. So yes, building confidence comes from building consistency and building gentle discipline. I hope this has been useful and helps you change your mindset in time for summer and the rest of 2025 so that you can make the most of it and not waste any more time stuck in your old ways. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know in the comments any other videos you would like to see.